Hey, Christy Mattoon from Mind Rewire. I would just want to say a lot of things that I usually kind of keep quiet about, and it's getting harder and harder to keep quiet because as I work with people and they come in and I find out, different things about their lives and about what they're going through and their struggles, and you realize that it's all stuff that's happened because of stuff that's happened. I mean, it's all cause and effect, right? Basically. But there's no sense in it. There's no reason for it, and it's making me crazy. And to speak to it, and you get deplatformed. And I was silently deplatformed off Facebook years ago because I was considered an anti-vaxxer, and I was very outspoken about it. And they quit moving my information a long time ago on that platform, and so you kind of get quiet, and you're not really sure what to think or do, and then you realize, wow, that was real. That that really happened, and it's just kind of mind-boggling. And so the longer this goes on and the more we get into it, I remember when my brother passed, and he came back the day after. He was still there, actually. I don't think he'd left yet. And he told me, he said, nothing is what you think it is. And if this is the first time you're watching any of my videos, I speak to the dead. I talk to people. I talk to angels. I don't know. I have no qualms about it. I see into the other side. I hear. I always have, and I never thought it was a thing. I never thought it was an issue. And so when he came back and told me nothing's what you think it is, don't believe any of it. None of it's true. I was just like, what does that mean? And as this moves forward, as the climate that we're in, this period of climate change, that's a weird one for you, isn't it? We went from global cooling to global warming and back again, and now it's just climate change. Well, what is the climate that they're trying to change? The word climate is probably not pointing at the weather, which is what I'm questioning. What climate, right? And maybe it's not them trying to change it, and who is them? Maybe you don't even know who them is. We'll talk about that for half a second here. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's the white hats that are trying to change the climate, right? Who's in control of the climate, and what is the climate? Because I don't think it pertains to the weather anymore. I think it's all part of the illusion. So let's talk about the illusion for a second. The idea that we live in an illusion, right? And we thought, maybe they mean it's the walls around us are an illusion, this whole plane of existence, kind of the Matrix idea where everything is just a stream of numbers, and you have to be able to get into the Matrix to see the, right? And that's probably true too, right? That's probably got some truth to it. They say the Matrix wasn't a movie, it was actually a documentary, which is interesting. I think the illusion is everything they keep telling us. I think the illusion is created by the elite that are in charge, and I'm not talking about just the USA, I'm talking about the whole world, that own the global positioning that they've taken over, and we've let them, right? We signed into it. We gave them permission, and that's become a huge problem, right? Are just allowing things to happen and giving permission. And they put information out there. Apparently it's one of their directives that they have to tell you the truth, and they do, and we just kind of shrug our shoulders and go on. We know things like fluoride's a neurotoxin, and yet you still drink the water, right? People all over the place. And it turned into a very interesting thing with bottled water, right? How expensive can we make a bottle of water that doesn't have fluoride in it? And bleach, right? All the things you're drinking that are killing your body. So they basically, and by they I mean the global elites, okay? So be clear on that. From the Vatican on down to the United States government. They create the narrative, and the United States government is not the top of the pyramid, right? Don't think it is. We are owned. We are owned by whoever, right, owns all of this crap. They create the narrative and tell you what to think. And if you questioned it, you get deplatformed, you get slapped, you get handled, right? People lose their lives over these things. So when you start questioning it and you get deplatformed, you get quiet, right? A lot of us got quiet. A lot of us were just like, whoa, this is weird, because it's not what you think it is. And you're not really sure what it is because you don't have enough information to discern it, right? So the ability to discern inside of a lie, when you're standing inside the lie looking out, the ability to discern is very hard. There were people who got deplatformed early on that had enough information that their level of discernment was way greater, right? So they could see the lie because they knew more information about what was really going on. Some of us didn't have that information. We weren't, in a place where we were getting that information clearly. But it's all coming out now, all right? So understand that. They don't want you to know, right? Which is why we weren't privileged to a lot of this information. They don't want you to know. I mean, everything you can possibly think of. The medical institution to, food, right? The food's designed to send you to the doctor. It literally is designed. Food is designed to send you to a doctor, so you have to get on pharmaceuticals, right? It's how they get richer and richer. And a lot of people are aware of this at this point, but you're afraid to stop taking the medicines. Why? Because you've been programmed. You're deeply programmed, right? You're part of the MK Ultra dealy-do, and you don't even know it, right? Most of us have no idea how deeply we've been programmed by some of this stuff. And even the water being poisoned with fluoride. Fluoride's a neurotoxin. Like, why would that be in our water? And why would it still be in America's water when so many other countries have already banned it? Right? You have to start thinking, you have to start really opening your thinking and realizing there's a deeper thing going on here than what you think there is. Right? And whatever you think you know, start questioning it. Everything you think you know. And when you think you've got it right, question it again. And go into deep, dark places searching for information that, you'll listen to them, especially if you're just waking up to this. You'll listen to them and you'll just be like, oh, seriously, come on. Listen again and then go look further. Go look for more information. Don't just stop wherever you think you're standing. Because there's a ton of information floating around out here right now. You just have to go find it. And you have to be open and aware to listen, right? If you think this is crazy and weird, you have to be open and aware to listen. It's things like, did you know that the weeds in your garden are healing? Most of the weeds in your garden are healing. They have a healing nature to them. They are healing medicine, but then they told you they're weeds and they told you to poison them. Who started that nonsense? Hey, let's sell them some poison to kill the weeds that could potentially heal them. And I'm talking about, there's they call it, I think weed lettuce or something. It looks like it's a little prickly weed. It's all over my garden. I've grown to love it. You can make a very potent painkiller out of it. It's crazy, right? It's just in your garden. Dandelions, for goodness sake. Oh, they're weeds. Get out the Roundup. Let's pour glyphosate on everything. Right? And then where do you end up? In the doctor's office because you've been handling poison. Right? It's crazy. It's just absolute craziness to me. And there's still so many people out there that believe the old narrative because you are locked in that mentality and you don't know, right? The ability to discern isn't there. You have eaten the neurotoxin. You've drank in the neurotoxin. And so the mind is numbed. You want to know why you have brain fog? That's why, right? That's why you've eaten the neurotoxin. Some people don't want to know what's going on. They know there's something up and they literally don't want to know. And others of us can't get enough information. You cannot tell me something at this point that would shock me, but I will go searching to see if I can find other clarifications. I want 2 or 3 different people saying the same thing before I even start to believe it. All right, so I go looking for other information. You have to know at this point that the meds they're selling, it's just crazy. First of all, they make you sick. And then some of the ones that would help are the same ones that they sell, for animals at, I can't even say what the discounted price is if they're selling it to a horse or a dog or a cat. And they tell you don't eat it, it's not FDA approved, but it's the same junk that they're selling to you in pill form. $120 for 30 pills versus, I think, $4.99 for a tube of paste. Come on, right? And people look at me and go, okay, now you're really being crazy. Most of you that I'm talking to probably have heard some of this, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. And if I say the wrong words, they will take this down. They've done it before to me. So I'm trying not to say the wrong words, and it's probably going to get that anyway, but we're going to give it a try. Do you know the people, let's keep going with some of this. The people that used to be on the back of the milk carton were not kidnapped. You know, we're looking at it and watching it going, wow, all these people are getting kidnapped. This is back in the 70s and 80s, right? I don't know why they quit putting them on the milk carton. I guess they decided they had said enough about it, right? They have to tell you what they're doing. They weren't kidnapped by us. Let me clarify this. They were not kidnapped by us, by one of us. They were kidnapped by them. They were trafficked. Do you understand this? That's what that was. And they were showing you, we trafficked this person. We took this person, right? And some of them they threw back. Some of them, you know, they found the bodies of to say, oh, right, to keep it kind of a hidden weirdness to it. But they were sold into horrible conditions. They were sold into slavery. They were sold into terrible, terrible things that they were doing to these people. They were tortured. They were sacrificed. Did you think the blood sacrifice stopped just because you don't see people actively doing it? Blood sacrifice did not stop. Blood is the richest currency on this planet. Did you know that? It's craziness. It's craziness. And where are our children going? What's happening? And I could tell you horror stories, things I've seen on videos and listened to, and from top people, you know, Jewish rabbis that you would think had our back because they're Jewish rabbis and they're talking about these sacrifices and what they do to these children. I'm just saying, right? It's not what you think it is. None of it's what you think it is. We don't ask questions and we don't talk about it, right? We didn't talk about it because we were dumbed down by the drugs. You were dumbed down by the neurotoxins. We were dumbed down by the vibration equivalents to the negative emotions that most people emote. Did that make sense? So in the science of frequency and hertz, right, you listen to music at a less than frequency that actually dumbs you down. It messes up the human electromagnetic system, right? Do you understand that? And I know you do. So your system needs a certain amount of voltage. It needs a certain amount of ampage, if you will, to make it function right. Right? Talk to Rife, the guy who built the Rife machine. He knew all about this stuff. And where is he? What happened to his information? Silenced. All right, and it was all about vibration. Talk to me about Tesla. You know what happened to Tesla. Everybody does. It's not a hidden secret anymore. We know he had free energy. I don't know if I can say that on here without getting in trouble. We know he did, but we pay for ours. And free means free. Free means there was nothing to pay for, right? And that's why they didn't want it. Understand these things. It's why the Essenes were slaughtered. It's why the Gnostics were slaughtered. This is not new. It is the same bloodline of peoples, there's more than one, doing this throughout time, right? Who have taken control and seized power and got richer and richer by doing the things that they do. And now the jig's up, right? Now the jig's up. We have moved into a period of time where everything is coming back into the open. All the truths will be revealed. All the lies will be revealed. And things are changing drastically, whether you know they are or don't know they are. And this is why I'm wanting to say this to you. Open your eyes. Become more aware. Question what you think is wrong. Right? If you hate Trump, question why. Ask yourself, why do I hate him? Well, he did this and he did this. Go check. Who was telling you that narrative? Where was it coming from? How often were they repeating it and why were they saying it? Right? What are they saying about Joe Biden? What are they saying about him? What do you think about him? Do you go and check? Do you go and know? What did they say about the jab? Did you take it? Did you? Did you go read the insert? Was the insert blank? Did you get one of those? Did you ask for the insert? Was it blank? Have you seen that? It's crazy. The insert to the packaging. Did you go read their website? Did you look for more information before you just blindly walked into the back of a CVS or wherever to take your jab? Some of this stuff just plain does not make sense. And if you're not stopping and going, whoa, 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 we'll back the truck up for half a second and let me take a breath. And then sit there and take your breaths before you do anything, right? Get coherent, get back into your heart space, and then ask the question again and go look for more information. You don't know anything else because they're not putting information in obvious places. And actually, they're very obvious places, but you deny them because they told you it was a conspiracy theory, right? That's part of the whole cover-up. It's part of the whole illusion, is the things that you think are conspiracy theories, they are absolute conspiracies, but they are not theories. None of them, which is even crazier, right? It's all just part of the big cover-up. You know, some of the presidents that we've had that were white hats, that were the good guys, were killed and silenced for knowing what they knew and trying to stop what was going on, right? And this has happened throughout history. I think since Bush, it's been on a downhill spiral. He basically went in and took over everything. Why was Trump friends with the Korean dude? Do you know why? Do you know how he got in there and got friends with him? Because he kicked the black hats out. He kicked the I don't know if I can say cabal. He kicked the cabal out. And he freed him up to rule his nation the way he wanted to. Isn't that crazy? He gave his nation back to him, and that's why all of that kind of loosened up and it quietened down. But now they're back in there. They took it back over. I don't know. It's crazy. Everything is just crazy. Have you ever wondered about God? I get a lot of people, because I do a lot of spiritual work, that will be like, I don't understand this God thing, right? The God we were taught about, that says you should be healthy and have prosperity and be in peace and love and blah, blah, blah. And then you look around your life and you're just like, oh, here's one of the big problems is they also taught you about the New Age idea, right? Who's the author of the New Age idea? And then there was no evil. It's all good. Everything's good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. But it's not. There is evil. There is things going on this planet that are causing less than good effects that would give you prosperity and give you health and give you all the goodness that you deserve. That's what Creator wanted. Right? And then people go, well, where is he? Well, the God you were taught about isn't the God of creation. That's what I think. The God that's written about in that book is not the God of creation. And they told the stories the way they told them so you would believe the things that you believe. Right? Go into your heart, seek your own spirit, and ask. Ask questions of your spirit and of these things. So, they basically told us what to think about God, right? They told us how to believe it. They told us how it worked. They told us, and then it doesn't work for any of us, right? It doesn't work for many of us anyway. So question. And I already asked, I'm sitting here reading through my notes because I was just scribbling this down as it was coming to me. Do you know who the author of the New Age movement is? Do you know that it's Satanists that authored the New Age movement? And they fed it to the people that they knew would be like, oh, that's it. Like, that makes so much more sense because what they were doing before didn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, you go on to something else, which is what we keep doing. This doesn't make sense. Let's move on to something else. This doesn't make sense. Let's move on to something else. But none of it makes sense because they have control of all of it and they keep feeding you the information. I swear these people are just standing back laughing hysterically at this point. And actually probably not now because some of them are already being picked up and taken away. There is a war going on. We are in a war right now for humanity. We are in a war for this planet, all over this planet. And the way the media talks about it, they would have you think everything is fine. There's no inflation. There's nothing going on. Don't worry about it. Like, blah, 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 whatever. There is a war going on. We are trying to take this back over. And we being the people whose eyes are open, right? We're teaching, we're doing our jobs, we're doing the things we know how to do that help humanity lift up into this different vibrational pattern. But you have to be aware of the junk that is going on. You know, I've heard this war called a silent war. It's a war of the internet. It's a war in kind of the space, right, between everything. It's not a kinetic war yet. It's not a kinetic war yet. It could go that way, right? That could be which is why people are stocking up ammo and guns. Come on now. Like, we know, but you don't want to say it. You don't want to think it could get that far, right? You don't want to think it could turn into something like that. But we are still in the middle. We are still in this cuspy area where we haven't quite gotten to the other side yet. This is why, you know, you're starting to see more information coming out, and some people are still kind of stuck on the UFO thing. Are there aliens or are there not? And it just diverts your attention, right? My guess is yes, there are. That would be my guess, right? Who cares at this point? Right? You're going to invade us. We've already been invaded. We've already been invaded. There is a presence on this planet that is not human. All right? Like, flat out. And if you haven't realized that yet, the invasion's already happened. You just didn't see it. It was very quiet and very secretive. Okay? I truly believe that. I truly think that. And for many reasons. I've heard it in other places. It's been confirmed by other sources. It's been spoken about actually quite a few times in different areas. And we're feeling the effects of all this stuff, right? We're not seeing the war, but we're feeling the effects. The inflation, all the money that our government's throwing it around the world that's not even real money, it's blowing up in their faces at this point. I mean, they're literally burying themselves. And there's old scripture that talks about, if you stand back, the man that digs a ditch will eventually dig it deep enough to bury himself in it. And that's not exactly how it goes, but it's something to that equivalent. And they have been digging their own ditch, and they are burying themselves at this point. So, with the help of our white hats, right? I mean, and it's the promises from our government, right? It's the money from our government. It's just not real, like literally not real. It's all just fake. It's all fake. But the war is real. The fight is real. The fight for humanity is real. The fight for the earth is real. Whether you know it or don't know it, this is going on. The evil presence is real. It has invaded our world, our country, our banking system, our food supply, our governments, our medical, our medicine, right? The food is our medicine. You've heard this preached before, but then we keep running to these pharmaceutical drug companies that are basically killing us. And then I ask again, what is the climate that's changing? Do you know what climate change is? Have you questioned? Does it have anything to do with the weather? I don't think it does. And I haven't heard anybody say this yet. But I was sitting and I was listening to somebody talk about climate change, and all of a sudden I hear spirit in my ear going, climate change isn't what you think it is either. It's not about the weather. And I'm like, well, what's climate change about? It's about changing the climate of this planet, not hot or cold, not temperature-wise, but the crap that's going on, right? The good versus evil. It's the age-old story, right, of good versus evil. And they made us think it's a movie, and that's not real, and there's only good, and everything's fine. But some of the stuff that they are doing is not good, right? Stealing humans and using them for sacrifices, and the things that have been happening, I don't know, the things that they do with the blood is just, blood is a currency, y'all. It is a currency. So, I mean, the climate that I think is changing is the climate that was produced by the evil that is in our presence, that is in our midst. I don't know if that makes any sense. I hope some of that makes sense to what I'm trying to speak to here. And I was trying to keep this short, but I don't think I kept it very short. Let me end by saying this. We're not black. We're not white. We're not brown. We're not yellow. We're not red. We're not a race. We're not a race. We are a people on a planet, right? We're not Democrat. We're not Republican. We're not socialist. We're not communist. We're not Christian. We're not Islam. We're not atheist. It's not who we are. It's not what we are. We are the people. We are the people. We are the inhabitants of planet Earth. All of us. In the USA, we're calling ourselves the patriots, right? Maybe around the globe too, I don't know. Evil is being eradicated. In this age, in this period of time, some people would call this Armageddon or the apocalypse, right? I'm not sure which. I think Armageddon is probably closer to it at this point. You will see justice done. It will come out in the open, and you'll see it with your eyes. The good is prevailing. It is winning. The good always wins. This is how the story goes, right? It's how the story ends. So know that. Stay in that in your heart. The story ends with the good winning. Be kind to one another. Be kind to people who are not awake. Be kind to people who are struggling to see because they don't know, right? And be gentle. Be gentle with yourself, especially as the climate keeps changing and you become aware of new things that you weren't aware of before. Be super gentle with yourself. Be super gentle with people around you. If they can't tolerate it and they can't hear it, get quiet for a minute, right? Until more things come out and they can. For yourself, mostly for yourself, stay aware. Stay aware. Keep searching. Keep looking. Be in your heart space. Stay in peace inside your own system. You will cause peace outside of your system. It's how the energy of this works, right? If you stay at peace, you produce peace. Peace is put into the space around you. The more of us that do that, eventually that will reach a tipping point and then peace will be felt everywhere. You don't produce peace by causing a war, right? The wars were all just things for us to focus on and look at to keep us dumbed down. And be ever so patient. Be ever so patient. This is going on, and people are starting to roll their eyes and be like, seriously, be ever so patient. Be vigilant to your tasks, right? My task is to teach people heart coherence. So the people I can touch, I try and touch. The people I can share information with, I share information with. The people I can help, I try the hardest I can to help. And staying in the heart space is one of the easiest ways to alter your own electromagnetic field. Did you know that? That's a little hint for you. And you can cause your own climate change. How's that sound? You can cause your own climate change. All right, I'm going to jump off. I think I've harped enough here. I want to bless you. I want to witness you as light, as I witness myself as light. And I truly think in the end of this, we're going to see the face of God. The face of God that we have never known because we were lied to about it. We will see that face. We will understand it in a different way than we've never understood it before. All right, so be patient, stay vigilant, stay aware. I bless you, and I will speak to you again soon.